All right, we're going to talk about men. If you've ever been to any of my classes, you know I say all the time, I love waxing men, because I do. I love waxing men. Men in our industry, it's a touchy subject. And in season 1, I talked about my inappropriate male client, and that video, which always has me laughing because I'm laughing at the responses that I get, which some are kind of good, and then some have been from men like, why were you upset? We'll tackle that on another day. But men, remember, we have a population of men and women. If you cut off men from any service, you're cutting off 50% of your potential income. When it comes to waxing, and you say no, can you really say no? Are you discriminating against men? Are you uncomfortable waxing men? If you are, what would make you become comfortable? You guys all know I had an incident. I've had more than one. The one that I talked about last season was just the one. I've had more than one incident with men. But that never stopped me from offering the service. Number one, I charge more. Number two, I'm not going to cut off the potential that I could have with male clients. And it's funny because a lot of the men that come to me, it's because they can't go to a regular spa or salon because they get turned away. And it's kind of sad if you think about it. That we just wake up one day or we get it from school, I'm not gonna do men. And it's funny, I'm telling you, I've traveled to Australia, I've traveled to Canada, I've traveled all over the US. And it's the same, we all have the same feelings. Those of us who love waxing men, we raise our hand, we're all happy, we're excited. Yeah, I wax men, I do Brazilians, this is what I do. The ones that don't, they're like, no, they can't come in my, no, they're not gonna come. I'm not even gonna put it on my service menu. Why? And I always ask that same question, why? But if you're making so much money, and this is my blanketed response, if you're doing so well that you can tell men and you can turn away money, honey, more power to you. But me, no, I like waxing men. I think once I got past the incidences that I had, and I can talk about that because, again, you guys saw exactly what happened, episode 3, where I said it was an inappropriate male Brazilian wax. That really changed me to start focusing on how I was carrying myself. Was I assertive? Was I clear? Did I give, concise information? And did I ask questions before the client came in there? Now, I have a routine. Guys, women, anybody, let's go. Let's go, come on, let's go. I'm not gonna cut off potential income. Now, the flip side, if you've made up your mind, you're not going to offer any services to men. You're just not going to do it. You're not going to put it on your service menu. So you're working with 50%. How is all of that going? What if a guy calls? Do you turn him away? What if he had a wife and knew a lot of women that could potentially bring you business? You can still turn him away? Or even my bigger question is what about your female clients' significant other? You're going to tell them no? And if you do, how do you explain that? I always like to know. I'm like, so how do you explain saying no to, And it's funny because I can laugh about it now because I think a lot of us, the fear is not necessarily because something has ever happened to you. It's the fear of that it could happen. Or even in my situation where it did happen. And then I had another incident that happened. It wasn't quite as elaborate as that, but it still was kind of like, But I still was open. So if you're thinking about offering services to men, first step, be open to it. YouTube is kind of like a scary place. So I've seen some really scary Brazilian waxes. And then I've seen someone that they're not even Brazilian waxes, but the title's named that. So I had to watch with one eye and then close it because that wasn't waxing. But the other part of it is that I became knowledgeable on what our clients are seeing as well. I got a post on one of my YouTube videos about specifically on that, and he was saying that to prepare himself to get a male Brazilian, that he would watch all the different videos. And it's funny because the post is probably still on there, and he was just saying, I was completely naked, so is that wrong? And I responded back and said, you have to remember, everything that's on YouTube, they're putting it into production, which means you're not going to see a guy that has just a wife beater on and socks on in a video production. In a spa treatment room, it's completely different. That's not the same setup. It's not the same visual. It's completely different. And then he was kind of like, oh, okay. So men, I love waxing men. I encourage you, if you want to be open to it, reach out. I'm looking at getting ready to start my male Brazilians on my StephanieLaynes.com website for our online courses. Be open to it. And you never even have to offer any services. Just be open. Be open to that. You would be surprised. You would be surprised at the different opportunities that you would have with including men. My experiences have always been girlfriends and wives have suggested their partners to come in. 20% of my male was by they just found me. Majority of them, 80%, was by a wife or girlfriend. So, be open. Be open. But I love men. You got to have 50%. I'm getting every cross board. I want all 100%. Anyone that walks into my door, we're going to go ahead and treat. Yes, absolutely. It's called money. We work to eat. Yeah? All right. 4. Let's wax.